It appears that some things never change. As the Trump administration comes to a sad, pathetic end, and the Biden administration is set to begin tomorrow, which of course will also be kind of a letdown, I'm assuming. Fox News is getting ready to elevate possibly one of the most fervent Trump-supporting loyalists to prime time. Now, there is a list of possible people that that Fox News is going to try to put in the 7 o'clock spot. So, you've got a couple of them. You got Pete Hegseth that could possibly get in there. You got Brian Kilmeade. So, everybody prepare.
Tighten up my meat.
Yeah, you got to tighten up that meat for Brian Kilmeade.
I like my meat tight.
Exactly, he does. And so he's one of the considerations, but also a big name that's been floated is Maria Bartiromo. So she would be joining the likes of Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson in the Fox primetime spot. And it appears that some people at Fox News are not happy about this. In fact, in interviews in the Washington Post, unnamed Fox News staffers sounded off in the network's decision to get Bartiromo a tryout at the valuable 7 p.m. slot, after she, of course, had spread the conspiracy theories about Dominion voting machines and Smartmatic and stealing the votes for President-elect Joe Biden. So now it got so bad that Smartmatic literally had to threaten legal action. And that got Fox News to actually stop talking about it. So great, wonderful. Now, here's the thing. The ghost of Hugo Chavez did not come back to steal votes from Donald Trump. It's ridiculous. In fact, both Biden and Trump shattered election results and records for turnout. I mean, both sides were incredibly energized. This was a very big election. A lot of people showed up. It just turns out that more people showed up for Joe Biden, especially in certain key states. Biden got, 7 million more votes than Donald Trump had, who, again, broke his own vote records in 2016 because nobody was really excited to turn out in 2016. Not for Hillary Clinton, not for Donald Trump. But again, this is an incredibly polarized time in American history. And so you had the people who were setting out to defeat Donald Trump in any way possible. And then, of course, those who were energized and were helped and did well under Donald Trump, turning out to save the new status quo. So there you go. Now, that said, Biden won, Trump lost. Them's the breaks, man. Sad. Feels sad, man. But Bartiromo, just like her peers in that time slot, kept riling up the Fox base, riling up. And again, it came to a head. And that's why staffers are now saying stuff like this, quote, "It is ludicrous and disheartening that we are rewarding Bartiromo with a primetime spot, knowing full well she is among the most responsible for propagating the big election lie." Another staffer tells the Post that Bartiromo's promotion sends a, quote, "message that they care about opinion more than news," while others speculated that Fox executives valued, quote, "sizzling hot opinion anger over hard news." Really? Oh, really? You're going to tell me that Fox News, or any media outlet, for example, that Fox News cares more about opinion than journalism? You just got that. You just got it? Where were you? Where were you for the last 8 years? Where the hell were you? Did you not pay attention to anything that was happening? Anything? It's never been a surprise. Fox News has never cared about hard news and journalism. Obviously, they're the propaganda arm of the Republican Party. That's what they were created for, is to help the Republican Party win elections by spreading propaganda. They don't care. And look, when Trump comes in office, just like any time a Republican came into office, they ended up becoming state-sponsored media. That's what it is. That's what it's always been. Yes, every time a Republican's in office, they're defending the Republican. Every time a Democrat comes in office, they're instantly against the Democrat. That's what happens. How is this a shock? How is this a shock? Now, the rest of the article, of course, goes into how Fox News is basically going that direction of putting more opinion shows on than news shows in order to kind of help their ratings and to help get their audience back, who might be a little sore from them every once in a while actually having to tell the truth that there was no election fraud. So here's an excerpt, right? For current and former Fox News employees who spoke to the Washington Post, the switch to opinion at 7 p.m. was the sign that the network's news division has lost the larger battle to the opinion division, which generates far more viewers. Shocker. It looks like the audience, it appears that they don't want to hear facts. I know, right? What they want to hear is the spin, the propaganda, because they have decided they hate facts. All right? How dare they puncture my bubble and tell me things that actually are happening, the things that are actually existing. I want my confirmation bias. I want to hear that the election was stolen from Donald Trump. I want to hear that Biden is a communist and that Hillary Clinton drinks the blood of infants in the forced abortion camps. That's what I want to hear. Tell me that, Fox News, or I'm going to go to OAN and Newsmax. That's what it is. They'll give me the disinformation I crave because that's it. Again, people who watch Fox News or consume conservative media overall are just less informed. I'm not saying they're stupid. Nobody says they're stupid. I'm saying they just don't know what's going on because they're not getting told facts. Now, what's worse is that when you try to be like, hey, no, actually that didn't happen. This happened. This is what actually happened in this situation. They're like, no, I don't believe it because I didn't hear it from my favorite media personality. Didn't hear it from Sean Hannity. It must not be true. They live in another world, another reality that is separate to our own. That is a world that was ironically created mostly by Fox News. And so that's the problem. Now, Carl Cameron's going to go on. This is somebody who spent 22 years as a reporter for Fox News. So he was there. He was in the lion's den, okay? And he had actually retired as the network's chief political correspondent back in 2017. Here's what he said, quote, "They want to restore their conservative base. They're going to serve the people who brought them to the dance, i.e. the crazy conspiracy theorists who are now going to, and the people who want to hear confirmation bias, the ones who have threatened to go to OAN and Newsmax, the Trump base. Remember, Donald Trump is incredibly popular among the Trump base. So if Donald Trump decides to make his own news network, which it's not like he hasn't talked about it, he's going to draw a lot of people there, which could be a problem for both OAN and Newsmax as well. And so nonetheless, he continues by saying, conservatives are going to want to hear what's wrong with Joe Biden. It's easier for Fox to beat Newsmax and everybody else back into the woods than it is for them to try to compete with the real journalism networks. Now, here's the thing. In journalism, we really don't have a lot of journalism in the major news networks anymore. A lot of newsrooms have been cleared out. They no longer do investigative journalism. The best places that I find is actually more of the independent stuff that actually will look into corruption. Good source that I like to go to is Sludge, Daily Poster, with Ken Klippenstein over at the Intercept. Those are good outlets that actually still do investigative journalism after places like the New York Times have kind of given up on it for the most part, even though every once in a while, them and the Washington Post actually will do, put out a good article and do some investigative journalism. It's not like they used to. So this is just a bigger problem all over the news, that you have a lot of opinion shows, and let's be honest, mine's an opinion show too, that have taken over. And the thing is, people like me, smaller outlets, we don't have the resources, not like the Washington Post or the CNNs or the New York Times of the world, to be able to do investigative journalism. And even they have given up on it. And obviously Fox News has as well. Not that they ever really did any investigative journalism to begin with, obviously. But anyway, that's kind of enough of me complaining about the media landscape for me. Let's get back to it. Now, again, what sucks is that they're right that Joe Biden's got problems, obviously. I've talked about them extensively during the primary, but that's actually based on, things like that are real issues. Political donations from corporations leading to influences on policy. That's not just a Joe Biden problem. That's a systemic problem, right? But it's the normal type of corruption that happens in in basically every administration. It's not Trump level corruption, which is way more open, way more transparent. You can see it. You can, it's right there. It's in front of your face. It's almost like it's taunting you, right? With the levels of corruption and grift and stealing from the taxpayer, from the government. But even in the absence of that, you still have the normal, the politicians don't really serve the people. They end up serving the corporation, all that stuff. And so the overall point is we've got a situation where a society, really serves the wealthy and well-to-do over the people. But instead, Fox News wants to talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. Burisma. I mean, come on.
Burisma, they say, pronounce it Burisma, a real beautiful company.
Yeah, they're gonna talk about that. They're gonna talk about, it's almost like we're going back to the era of Obama in the tan suit. Instead of, hey, Obama just droned a bunch of kids in Yemen. Nope, not gonna really talk about that. That's not Fox News style, because that actually does involve some investigative journalism. And so it's going to end up being just nonsense conspiracies, or equally harmless things like, can you believe Biden ate an ice cream cone the wrong way? No, come on. And Fox News will devote segment after segment after segment on it. And they're going to keep talking as well about how the election was stolen from Donald Trump. And then they're going to talk about migrant caravans and everything else. And it's just Fox News being Fox News. I mean, if you actually thought that they might have been able to shape up due to the loss of the ratings, maybe they thought, maybe now is our time that Roger Ailes is gone and we've restructured the company. Maybe we can go and start to be a decent, try to be a decent news agency. Well, I got news for you. They're going back to being the opposition channel, the same as they always been, no matter what. And if you're one of the staffers who are speaking out, you know who you work for. Maybe it's time to get out. Because if you're not part of the solution, it appears to be you're part of the problem. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.